This is the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. And boy, is this ever going to be a fun one. Yours truly, Joe Trahan, along with Michelle Montaine. And it's a big Cowboys night. It's the return of Micah Parsons. I have a sneaking suspicion we'll talk a little bit about that. But Michelle, why don't you let us know what is prepared on the show tonight?
What is on the show, Joe? Well, you kind of let in with the burying the lead there. It is going to be us talking about the Cowboys game that is still going on. We are waiting for it to conclude as the two teams take this one to overtime. And then, of course, we have a return of the top five, this time with a look at the top five revenge games featuring a player returning to face their former team. That is what is on the show. Now, Joe, who's on the show?
All right, now we have got Andrew Cely. He's normally our producer for the show. We've actually got Andrew at the game tonight because Andrew deserves to go to a game every now and again.
Here's What's on the Show, sponsored by NFM.
That's What's on the Show. Now this is
I leave
Who's on the
for
show.
5 seconds and everything goes. That's just how it works.
Well, I would just say that probably meant that you didn't do a good job of coaching us up. But, you know, I wouldn't say that out loud.
Sure.
No,
you know, why would I say that out loud?
Yeah.
So there you see. Andrew Cely's on the show tonight. Glenn Stretch Smith, he's on the show as well. And we're talking about Cowboys and Packers as they continue to play in overtime. Cowboys with a 40-37 lead as we speak right now. And before we get into more of the game in terms of where it is right now, let's just back up a little bit and talk in general terms about what the Cowboys going to overtime against this Packers team means. And Coach, I'll start with you because, listen, the Cowboys go into this one as a 7-point underdog, which is huge in the NFL, and they still figure out a way to not only be competitive, but they still have a chance to try and win this ball game. So what do you think about the performance so far?
They've shown they're really good offensively. They've shown you that they can run the football. They can press the ball down the field. They can play with two backup offensive linemen and get it done offensively. And they've shown you defensively, they are Rudy Poo Butt right now.
Okay, let's see. It's after 11 o'clock, so I think we can say that, Coach. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? We had an indecency training recently, so I think that might.
Oh, surely those words aren't on there, Joe.
Just barely okay, I think. Andrew, you were on site for this one. You've had a chance to soak it in. You could talk about your Packer fandom and what you saw from your team and how that translates into what you think it means for the Cowboys, not just tonight, but moving forward.
So it's funny. This is the third Packers-Cowboys game I've been to. The second one in the Dak era. I was actually at the 2016 game when he and Zeke Elliott took the rookie squad and basically went into Lambeau and beat Rodgers and the crew. So if you're counting this game, it's kind of 1-1-1 right now if a field goal's on the way as far as record and which games I'm going to. But it's funny how you take it for granted, right? How every game you go into with a Hall of Fame quarterback, you walk in with an advantage. And the Packers have had that for generations at this point. Rodgers, Favre, who is here in the building. But the counter is also true. And, Joe, I want to go back to something when we had conversations about what this Packers team could, quote-unquote, be after the first week. You asked me, are they a Super Bowl contender with Micah after the performance? And my quote was, no, because I need to see more from Jordan Love and his consistency. And this game is carte blanche for everything you could want wrong from his quarterback play in the first half and how he can throw you into and out of games. So as long as he is topsy-turvy, this team will be topsy-turvy. But the flip side of it is this. Dak Prescott is the man. He is proven he is the man now. It is all on his shoulders, and he keeps getting it done in these big circumstances. Throw after throw today with essentially one right wide receiver and Jalen Tolbert picking his head out at the end of regulation, early in overtime. What more could you want from him at this point? And he's clearly established himself in the upper echelon of quarterback. What
do you think, Michelle? What are your big takeaways from this one?
I thought it was interesting how effectively the Cowboys were able to limit Micah Parsons. Obviously, so much emotion coming into this game for him. And we, having covered him for the last 4 years while he was here in Dallas, we know that he gets up for the big moments. And this was, I mean, he even said it pregame. He said, this is an emotionally charged game. I'm going to have to really rein in my emotions. And we know that he wanted to get after Dak Prescott. I think they did credit him with that touchdown saving sack there, I guess the start of overtime. So he got his sack of Dak, which we know he wanted coming into this. But other than that, I was really impressed with both Nate Thomas and Terrence Steele doing a pretty good job limiting him. I mean, he I know would probably like to stack the stat sheet a little bit more than he was able to tonight, but that's what jumps out at me. And then, I mean, they've already said it. The offense, I think it was Stretch saying before the game started tonight, the Cowboys have to put up 30 on offense if they want a chance at winning any game this season. They had to do that here tonight with a chance to win it. Of course, this one going to overtime, and the only game they've been able to win this season has taken them to overtime so far. So those are some of the things that immediately jump out as the game plays on.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, the Cowboys and Packers are playing on. So here's what we're going to do. Let's take a quick break, and then we will give you the latest from AT&T Stadium. Keep it here. It is the ultimate Dallas sports show. Stay with us.
Today's headlines, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
Let's take a look around the NFC East. The defending Super Bowl champs are 4-0. Philly fends off a late rally to top the Bucs in Tampa Bay, 31-25. The Commanders started Marcus Mariota at quarterback and fell to the Falcons in Atlanta, 34-27. And a shocker, the Giants hand the Chargers their first loss of the season, 21-18.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, everyone. Andrew with the headlines there. He's amazing. He did the headlines from all the way at AT&T Stadium. Yeah, and we do have breaking news on Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. It is now a final, and we do have a tie. The Cowboys and Packers did all that work, 10 minutes of overtime, and we're tied 40-40. And first blush, I'm not exactly sure how I feel, but I will say this. As badly as that Cowboys defense has played, I don't think a tie is the worst thing that could have happened in this game. And it's tough to take. As Americans, we don't like ties. Never did like ties. I don't like wearing a tie right now. No, seriously, we don't like ties, so it's hard to take. But I think it's not the worst thing that could happen to your Dallas Cowboys tonight.
Especially when the Dallas defense started the game as poorly as it did. I mean, think about the fact that this was a 13-0 game in the second quarter, and it looked like it was only going to get worse. And then there was obviously the momentum-shifting play that resulted from a special teams effort. And then, yeah, the defense is just, you know what, Joe? It was better today than it was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And what I mean by better is
which is a low bar.
The receivers weren't 8 yards away from, or excuse me, the cornerbacks weren't 8 yards away from the nearest receiver.
Yeah, they were only 3.
Yes.
Which is wide open in the NFL. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. All right, let's go to Coach. Coach, tie ball game. What do you got?
Joe, speaking of a low bar, can you get Michelle to like lambada under it? Do you have something down there that you could put? Oh, God, defensively. Oh, that's a painful. It's like kissing your sister. Just a tie. It just rubs me the wrong way. Period.
Andrew, what do you think?
Listen, this was already a moral victory if you're a Cowboys fan. Everyone's expecting you guys to get blown the doors off. You showed everybody what Jordan Love can be if you put pressure on him. You looked like this team's equal, which I think, considering where things were earlier in the season, that's a huge step forward. And more importantly, what we've learned from the NFC East, from this game, no one knows anything a month into the season. Like, we're still figuring out who these teams are, who's going to be consistent. And if you can be just treading water at 2-2, you're doing all right.
No, I don't think it's, as I said, I don't think it's the worst thing for this Cowboys team. And I think here's the important point moving forward. Because if they would have found a way to lose that game, as they very easily could have, given the way that the defense has played in these first 4 games, I felt like it would have kind of erased some of the good that we did see in this ball game. Because we did see a lot of good in this ball game. I mean, listen, I would submit to you that the biggest play in this ball game was made by the Cowboys defense. When James Houston got the strip sack and the Cowboys were immediately able to turn that into 7 points. All of a sudden, you're playing complementary football from an outfit that seemed absolutely incapable of doing so. And because they were, it felt like it was going to be just dysfunctional for the entire time. Well, all of a sudden, he gets the strip sack. Cowboys scored the touchdown. You put a little bit of doubt in the Packers. Matt LaFleur is not as freewheeling as he was before. And all of a sudden, you got a game, and it felt like there was at least close to equal footing for Dak Prescott and that offense. And I think that is a quantum leap forward for this team. And I do think going into games against the Jets and then the Panthers, you at least feel like you got a shot. And I think if Green Bay would have gone down and scored a touchdown, it would have been like, man, this defense is just incapable of allowing this team to function. Michelle, what do you think?
I think having George Pickens have the day that he had was probably the best part of the day, because we don't know realistically how long CD is going to be out. He was seen with a boot on his ankle today. So I know it's tricky with those high ankle sprains. I know he is one of, the premier receivers and just athletes in the league, and he's expecting his own self to be able to return quicker than the doctors suggested, but you don't know how long he's going to be out. So to see George Pickens, I think his final stat line was 8 receptions on 11 targets, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, and it was the plays when he made them that I felt like really made the difference. And I remember, I think it was I guess late. It was their final touchdown drive I think it was a touchdown drive of regulation, where I think in games past, I would think no chance the Cowboys with a little over 4 minutes to go in the game or whatever that part was, have a chance to go down and score. But today I felt like they were able to move the ball, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Dak's and George Pickens' chemistry is continuing to get better.
Coach, let's talk chemistry, right? And let's talk psyche with the team, even though it's coming off a tie. How do you think it affects them moving forward?
Joe, here's what I love is that Dak Prescott, this is his football team. We talked all about Micah and what Micah was going to do and how he was going to sack the quarterback and how he was going to wreak havoc. What was really shown tonight was this quarterback has his football team. And does it make you feel good that they're 1, 2, and 1? Not really. But at the end of the day, he's a heck of a quarterback, and I think he's shown you that in the last few weeks, Joe.
And we're once again going to have to amend what you've been saying, because I think it started with got to score 30 every week. Then it went up to 35, and now I think it's going to be, what are we at now, 42, 45?
Joe, it's like a pinball machine. You played pinball for crying out loud when you were a kid. You get it.
It's whatever Brandon Aubrey's range is. They're one and the same.
Seriously.
Yeah, okay, we're going 57, 60, 60, baby, right? So psyche-wise, Andrew Cely, what do you think?
Psyche-wise, again, I think you come out of this feeling good because, again, Dak is the guy. Like, I've already brought up the quarterback comparison, but I always think back to value in players and whatnot. It's huge in the MVP conversation. Defensive players always feel like they get slighted. This was the case in point. Games are decided by quarterback play. And if Dak is going to play at this high level moving forward, again, as a guy who walked into most games as a Packers fan with Aaron Rodgers, a bunch of scotch tape on defense, and whoever they can find off the street on wide receiver, and they won 10-plus games, that is a formula that can be successful. Whether you can win a Super Bowl about it is a totally different discussion, but anything is possible with Dak at quarterback the way he's playing right now. There's no other way to put it.
And for the record, Dak ends up 31 of 40, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns, and his the 1 sack. So listen, that is yeoman's work, especially when you know that if you don't have a game like that, you don't have a chance to win. But I will say this, Dak got a little help, and this certainly bodes well moving forward. The Cowboys' running game is showing up. Javonte Williams, how can you not like what that young man is doing? Coach, I'll throw that one your way.
No, he's running the football like you want a back to run the football. Downhill, hitting it in there. And what about Dak hitting that quarterback draw in there? I mean, it looked like a college play, but you know what? It was effective in that box scenario. So the run game, you got to give them nothing but an A, especially when you consider they're playing 2 backup offensive linemen. I mean, that was not even discussed. let alone the protection and what they did to help Dak. So I think this is a plus for the offense and gives this football team a ton of what you would think would be confidence to go forward. Now, hopefully, they can get, Chavon Ravel back in there and hopefully see if they can piecemeal a secondary together, because one side of the ball is really fun to watch and the other side of the ball is extremely painful.
It is hard to watch, no doubt about that. Javonte Williams, 20 carries, 85 yards, good stuff. Bodes well for that offense, allowing Dak and company to operate. All right, we got to take another timeout, but stay with us. We're going to have fun. Time to talk revenge games. We'll do that coming up next on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show.
And now it's time for the top 5.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Time now for the top 5. And with Micah's return to Dallas, I thought it a little prudent to go back and examine the top 5 moments where athletes returned home to face their former team. And yeah, you can guess already there's going to be some recency bias in it. All right, let's kick things off. Number 5 here. T.O. returns to Philly. As a Cowboy? After a Super Bowl appearance with the Eagles in 2004, Terrell Owens got into it a little bit with quarterback Donovan McNabb the following season, eventually signed with division rival Dallas in 2006. A lot of the festivities in his return. They only had 3 catches for 45 yards. Game was great, though. Drew Bledsoe threw a pick 6 to end it. Philly came out on top in the T.O. Bowl. Number 4, we head to New England for a battle of the GOATs, Brady versus Belichick. After dominating the NFL together for decades, Brady finally matched up against Belichick in Brady's final year. Neither team had a particularly great season, and Brady didn't throw a touchdown in the game, but he did become the all-time leading passer, got bragging rights over his old boss. I already hear a lot of people saying this might feel low given the guys involved, but I put a lot more emphasis on hatred and emotion, which leads us to number 3. How's this for recency? Luka Doncic returns to Dallas. Let's not rehash the specifics here. We all know them, but the atmosphere was crazy and unique. The AAC cheering for their team, and Luka, 45 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, proving he still owned the building in a Lakers win. Dallas team's on the wrong end of these reunions so far, by the way, which brings us to number 2. LeBron returns to Cleveland for the first time with the Miami Heat. The signage, the vitriol, the, at the time, unfulfilled promise. Cleveland let their feelings be known after LeBron took his talents to South Beach, and LeBron was LeBron, 38 points in a big win. Still a night we'll never forget. So what could top that? How about a guy who was in the building tonight at AT&T Stadium? Number 1, Brett Favre returned to hallowed Lambeau Field for the first time as an opponent. I'm getting choked up just thinking about it, with the division rival Vikings facing his replacement, Aaron Rodgers. Packers fans full-throated after years of waffling about retirement and whatnot. He comes back in purple. You got to be kidding me. Oh, yeah, the game was awesome, too. Favre and the Vikes won't forget it, sweeping the season series against the Pack. A night that nobody, especially Bert Favre, I think his name is, will ever forget. Joe, what do you think?
Andrew. I actually thought it was pretty good, bud. I did. No, I thought it was pretty good. I would have flip-flopped Luka and LeBron. Hey, by the way, we're in Dallas, bro.
It's okay.
I definitely would have flip-flopped those. But other than that, I may have left T.O. off. I may have went with some like old school Joe Montana going back to take on the 49ers, right? I may have done that.
Arrowhead.
Right?
That was the difference.
MJ going back, right, with the Wizards. That would have been. I would have thought more along the lines of GOATs, right? In that respect.
Okay. Michelle,
But overall, I thought it was pretty good. Good effort. Feels
Michelle.
like, if I had to say if it was a win or a loss, I'd probably say it was a tie.
Yeah, all right. Michelle,
Joe, let me ask you something. That didn't feel like a typical Andrew hard count right there. It was a guy that was in the building tonight, and you thought he was going Dallas angle, and then he went, hut, hut, and everybody jumped, and he went, Brett Favre, for crying out loud.
Oh,
yeah, this one had Andrew Cely imprinted all over it, but I think he did a great job. I think it's fitting also that Jerry and Micah didn't make the list, and I guess Micah didn't make the list. I also think it's fitting that Jerry and Micah got a tie. Like, that just, that
something.
fits.
You're right, Michelle. Something with that works, and certainly the guys who are our guests tonight did yeoman's work. Thanks so much to Andrew Cely and Coach. We appreciate it. We're going to take one more time out. We'll be back with more. A final word from yours truly on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show next. My final take directed at Cowboys defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Coach, it was tough to watch again. However, you found some traction, especially in the middle of that game. Your defense actually made some plays. It's real simple. Build on it, Coach. Get them together. Get them on the same page. I know it was a tie. It wasn't a win, but let's see if you can build on it and do something good again. All right, final word. Incredibly ridiculous night tonight, Michelle. Final thought.
If the Cowboys are going to win a game, at least what we've seen through these first 4 games that they've played, it's going to take what we just saw, some sort of circus, overtime, extra innings, and a miracle for them to actually find the win column, because it's not going to be, there will not be one that comes easy.
That's right, and a Herculean performance by one Dak Prescott. That's it. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. It's the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. We'll see you next Sunday night.
This has been the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.